campaign events with just days left before the election. In your judgment, is something wrong with him? You're on mute. No, we still can't hear you. Let me take a break and we'll come back and try to get your microphone sorted out.
Now?
Oh, I hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you now.
So as I was saying, sorry about that.
Donald Trump's been trying to mute you for the last couple of years. Go ahead.
You could say that again. Look, Rev, you and I, it's great to see you. You and I have known each other since 1999. I can honestly say that neither you or I have ever seen an exhausted Donald Trump looking the way that he looks now. Pale, flustered, sweaty, completely disoriented. The question that I would then turn around and pose is, who wouldn't be when you have 34 criminal counts that have been levied against you? You have about 600 million in civil fines. You know that you are failing in this campaign, and that if you don't win this presidential election, that accountability is going to be had by you for the first time in your life. He is physically and mentally exhausted.
Now, you were at the center of Trump's criminal hush money trial, which saw him convicted of 34 felony counts for falsifying business records to cover up an alleged affair with adult film actor Stormy Daniels. This week, MSNBC learned that Trump's lawyers recently tried to compel Daniels not to make unfavorable comments about Trump ahead of the election, offering to lower the restitution demands of Ms. Daniels after she lost a defamation suit she filed against Trump, separate from the hush money trial. Your thoughts on Trump's continuing efforts to silence Stormy Daniels, Michael?
I don't understand why that they would even do this. Are they trying to be Michael Cohen? I'm talking about the lawyers that he has currently, with him. Stormy Daniels was fortunate. She ended up doing, at my recommendation, by the way, a GoFundMe, which brought for her over $1 million. Certainly more than enough for her to pay it. Why they would think that she would want to keep more of it for herself and not pay it off, I don't know the answer to that. Why they even think that it's relevant. Her book was widely read. People know exactly what it is that took place between the two. She has not been quiet about that affair that they had. So what's the point to do it? Honestly, I have no idea. To me, it makes no sense at all. Was it somebody that went rogue to try to do something to curry favor with Donald? You see, that's the problem. You have all of these crazy, sycophantic acolytes that are running around, each one trying to outdo the other for who could be more, more improper than the other. I have no idea why they would do this. It makes no sense to me at all. Zero.
Now, let's pivot back to politics, Michael. Even as he struggled to stay on message this week, Trump's rhetoric was dark and combative as he condemned immigrants, his political opponents, and on Democratic-led cities, some of which he's campaigned in recently, along with otherwise unfavorable blue states. If Trump wants to win, why is he taking this message into places where he's not competitive, blue states and heavily black cities?
Ref, like I've said a million times, Trump is racist, he's sexist, he's misogynistic, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, and anti-Semitic to boot. While I'm appalled at the statements that he keeps making, whether it's the Haitian immigrants, whether it's immigrants from the Congo, whether it's Mexicans, about Jews, with the blacks, I am absolutely appalled by every statement that comes out of Donald's mouth. But I think the one that your listeners, that your viewers, and all of America needs to really start concentrating on is his statement about the enemies from within. Donald Trump did not make up that line. That is a Joe McCarthy line. On top of that, it's also a derivation of a line by Adolf Hitler in his memoir, Mein Kampf. Why he is doing this, I don't know. Like I said before, nothing screams elect me president like using the DOJ to go after a political opponent or a critic, like he did to me. And, Rev, one last thing. Your two previous guests, Juanita and Susan, they brought up a great point about the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz campaign. This is low-hanging fruit. Why? And something you and I, Rev, have talked about many times. I am the first political prisoner held by my own country. And this case right now is before the Supreme Court of the United States with Justice Sotomayor in hopes that we get rid of certiorari on it. I am the first political prisoner held by my country because I refuse to waive my First Amendment constitutional right. I'm not the one who said it. Justice Alvin K. Hellerstein said it in an order, in a habeas petition order, that ultimately was the reason why I was able to get out after 51 days of solitary confinement. He did it to me. He will do it to you, and he will do it to anyone who is critical of him that he deems an opponent.
Michael Cohen, I'm going to leave it there. That's a heavy statement. Thank you for being with us tonight. When we come back, I'll tell you why I went to Ohio on Wednesday and why I'm going to Georgia tomorrow. Stay with us.